Are you done with classes for today, or
Yeah.
you're done? Cool. What are you studying in general?
Neuroscience. I'm a first year though. So.
Neuroscience. Amazing. Cool. Can I get your first name?
Hana.
Hannah, Hannah.
Just Hana.
Just A-N-A, no
Yeah.
H. Cool. My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Reed.
Good. So, yeah, what I do is just like to chat with people about whatever, preferably something they really think is true, maybe something they use to act upon regularly, some type of deeply held belief. It could range from politics to religion to spirituality to science, social justice, whatever.
So I just talk about it?
Yeah, and then I'll ask you questions about it. We'll try to focus on a discussion topic question.
Okay.
What's a good question to think about?
I have a good topic.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm Muslim and I believe about, like, obviously I'm really invested in the sciences as well, so I think there's like science inside of the Quran that's like pretty
Amazing.
good evidence.
I'd love to talk about that.
Sure.
Science inside of the Quran?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, is there science inside of the Quran? What's the best example?
I think so. Okay. I had like an entire paper on this, but I don't know if I'll remember the nitty-gritty details and where to find it. But, so it talks about, okay, I'll give you options. Would you like to hear about the bee, the formation of an embryo in the mother's womb, or iron?
Like a bee, like an insect bee?
Like an insect, yeah.
Or the formation of the embryo?
Yeah.
And what else?
Or iron.
Iron? Like the element?
Yeah, the element.
Whichever one you want to talk about.
Which one piques your interest?
Formation of the embryo? I mean, maybe like stepping back. Are you saying the Quran knew about these things before we, like as a society, knew about them?
Yeah.
And that would imply the Quran has some type of special knowledge or special capacity to get knowledge?
Yeah.
And if that is true, then that's more likely to be divinely inspired?
Yes. Because
and that is more likely to have like the God Allah being true?
Yeah, well, Allah just means God in Arabic, so just God in general.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a Muslim God, it's just God.
So these types of things are a way to have confidence that a God is real?
For me at least, personally, it's reassuring. I understand that it's not applicable to everyone.
We could talk about that overarching question maybe.
Sure.
How about that?
Sure.
Could I get a sense of your confidence that Allah, this God, is real? Say on a scale from like absolutely no to absolutely yes, or any confidence in between? Where would you put your confidence about it?
Should I move it?
Yeah.
Pretty confident God's real. I don't know if Islam is the true religion. Like when it comes to Islam being like a true religion, I'm more at like is that 8? Where is that?
Okay, so that's for Islam. For God, it's even higher?
Yes.
Okay. We can stick with Islam.
Sure.
What keeps you from going higher for Islam?
Honestly, I don't think it's the religion itself, but the cultural interactions with the religion that kind of stopped me. So I think when you take the Quran and isolate it from the politics that inevitably accompany religion, maybe my result would be a little bit higher, but it's hard to separate the two. So like culturally, at least in like Saudi Arabian society, my dad's Palestinian and my mom's Persian. So the Arab side, they're a lot less egalitarian, a lot more patriarchal, which is, as a girl, that's kind of hard for me to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas my Persian side, they're a lot more equal. So like it's not weird to see a man do cooking or be in the kitchen or taking care of kids. But yeah, just in general, it's just like the male dominance that kind of tends to accompany the religion that makes it a bit harder for me.
Okay, so Islam has some traditional conservative maybe values, at least in some parts of it, in some parts of the world. And
not Islam, the culture.
The culture
that Islam was raised in.
The culture that Islam is raised in.
Yeah, because there's a difference.
There's a difference between the culture surrounding and the people and the belief itself.
Mm-hmm.
What for Islam, regardless of culture, what is your confidence that it is true? The same?
A bit higher.
A bit higher?
There's still some things that hold me back.
What are those types of things?
So like it says that men are allowed to marry non-Muslims where women are not allowed to. or like men can have up to 4 wives, but women can't. And I don't know, I guess at heart I'm pretty monogamous, so that's a bit hard for me.
There's still some possible prescriptions, normative rules that Islam might have that seem to turn you off from it. Even if it was true, how does this relate to it being true?
What do you mean?
Islam as a belief that there's a God. If the Quran has some problematic rules, could that be the case that there are problematic rules and the God is real? How do we know this? If the core claim is the God is real, how do we know that is true?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing. No one really does know if that's real or not.
No one knows about that.
Yeah, I mean, just because I think so, I understand that I could fully be wrong. But I don't know. I think when you look at ancient books, you have to look at the context in which they were released. So even though those rules that kind of hold me back in modern society, it's different than in society back then, you know?
Yeah, now that we live in more modern societies, it's not that a big
that
deal.
Doesn't really, hold.
Okay. Is there anything you could learn or find out to shift your confidence about this? Anything hypothetically, up or down?
In Islam or in God? I mean, God's pretty high
Let's
up.
say a God.
That can shift my confidence.
Yeah.
I think my confidence in God existing is pretty solid. I think I've had enough like personal interactions I don't know if interaction is the right word, but experiences that solidify my confidence in God. As terms of Islam, I think that's just maybe to solidify that more, I'd have to do more research like by myself that's isolated from like people's biases and just find my own truths or whatever. But as far as like making me doubt Islam, I don't think much can. I try and keep an open mind because, again, like I think if everyone realized that their beliefs could be wrong, like people, would agree a lot more often. But I guess at least thus far, I haven't really found anything that like shakes me to the point of like not believing at all.
Is there anything hypothetically you could encounter to shift your confidence? Any data, any other personal experiences?
I don't think so. Really, I don't. I mean, because it's a hypothetical, it's hard for me to just come up with something like, oh, this would make me doubt. I don't know. Is there something that you would like let's say this happened, would this shake you? Like, do you have any hypotheticals for me to answer to instead of me just coming up with one?
Sure. Like praying for certain things to happen and then having those things happen very predictably and consistently, maybe?
Well, that would solidify, but that wouldn't make me doubt.
For doubting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure. Just in general, becoming aware of the way we're coming to this belief, personal experience. Is this a reliable way in general for coming to this type of belief?
Well, I was raised with it, so I don't know if I would have found it had I not been raised with Islam.
Yeah. Like if someone else, like one of those Christians comes up to the table and says, we have personal experience, that our God is real. If I'm seeing both of you guys, how do I tell which one is more accurate if you're both using personal experience?
The point of Islam is that like, anyone who's a believer, like any of the Abrahamic faiths, are technically like, okay, Islam just means, like the literal translation just means like submission to God. So you don't technically have to identify yourself as Muslim to be one, like we don't think that, if you don't identify yourself as Muslim, then there's no way to be promised. So like when a Christian, again, like Muslims believe that a Christian God, quote unquote, and is the Islamic God, they're the same thing, it's just God.
Okay.
Because it's all like based off of the roots of Abraham.
I spoke to a Hindu last week. If that person came up to the table again and said they believe in their Hindu gods based on personal experience, would that, like how would we then determine which one was more accurate there? Is there any way?
I don't think there is any way. Okay, because like religion in general is just like a moral aesthetic. You know what I mean? So
What do you mean?
like the reason why I love my religion is because I like what it stands for. Then the reasons why someone likes their religion is because of what it stands for. And you know, the things that your religion stands for kind of subscribes to how you were raised and like how it relates to how you were raised, you know? So because I was raised the way I was, Islam relates the most to me, whereas someone who had completely different experiences as me, Hinduism relates more to them. So it's just like, I don't think it's right to say, oh, my religion's right and yours is wrong.
It's not okay to say that?
No. Just because, like...
Is it the case that either a God exists or does not exist?
What about that? I mean, Hindus believe in gods, so
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Like either a God or one or more gods exist or does not exist. Is that the case?
Is that the case? Like, I don't understand the question.
Like either there's an even or odd number of Tic Tacs in this box. Is that similar to like the God idea of either it is true or not true, a thing or not a thing?
I think your definition of true is a bit loose, because like everyone's truths are different. It's not like universal.
Oh, it's different?
Yeah.
It's different from like a Tic Tac thing.
Yeah.
A religion is different from like even or odd Tic Tacs,
Yes.
where it can be true for someone and not true for someone else.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Again, based off of personal experience. So like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, religion's just a matter of opinion, really.
A matter of opinion.
Yeah.
Are some opinions accurate and some not accurate according to?
Well, that's what an opinion, you can't say if an opinion's accurate or not, because it's not necessarily factual.
Yeah, there's like opinions about the flavor of ice cream. Some people just prefer vanilla or chocolate. And a God belief is kind of like that?
I kind of think so. I mean, obviously I think God is real, but I wouldn't be offended when people are like, no, it's not.
What do you mean by real?
Like
Real like
exists.
Tic Tacs?
Yeah, like not tangible, because obviously we don't see or touch God. But
real somewhere.
yeah,
Similar to Tic Tacs. Like it
similar
is a
to
thing.
Tic Tacs.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at is like it is a real thing. It's not like it's just an idea that people have. It's something that's...
Ideas are real though.
Ideas about something that is
That
the
can
actual
be
the
real.
case.
Yeah.
Rather than like unicorns or leprechauns.
Yeah.
A God is different from those things. It is an actual thing
Yeah. To me.
to you. And how do you know that's the case?
Because again, personal experience.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Is personal experience a reliable way to come to this belief? Are there better ways? More
I think
reliable
there's
ways?
definitely better ways, but I think personal experience is what people look for.
What do you mean?
I think no matter like how many statistics or facts like you throw out there, if it doesn't have some sort of emotional connection, it doesn't really stick. Like for example, like being a vegetarian. Everyone knows that being a vegetarian is better for the environment, but people still choose not to be because it's not really real to them, you know, like the immediate effects aren't visible in their everyday life. So they just choose to not be.
Could a
It's the
belief
same
have
idea.
a certain emotional connection with a person and that belief be mistaken?
Like, what do you mean? Like, you mean if...
Yeah. Could someone have an emotional connection to an idea of like a God
And it just be wrong?
and it just be mistaken?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's a possibility. But I don't know. I don't think that's, like, a good example.
Not a good example.
No.
For this, is there anything you could learn or find out? Do you change your confidence about a God existing?
I mean, I think I'd be really interested to see what would convince me that God doesn't exist or does exist. But I just have yet to find that or encounter that.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm still young.
That's cool. Sweet. Yeah, is this belief testable at all? Is there any way to test it?
You tell me. Do you think there's a way to test it?
Possibly, like through prayer or something. Yet I haven't found anything, any particular religion that could do that. First, consistently reliably under testing conditions?
Well, when I pray for things, I don't pray for them to happen or not happen. I pray for like what's best for me to happen, and like I don't know what's best for me.
Yeah, is there a test that could possibly actually failed?
I don't think so. I think that kind of defeats the purpose.
It defeats the purpose? Okay. If we have a belief that's not testable, and could we be stuck believing something for the rest of our lives that may not be the case?
Yeah. That's kind of religion in a nutshell, isn't it?
I guess. Would you prefer to know if this is the case or not?
I mean, of course I want to like find answers, as does everyone.
Okay. And at this point, we're not sure how to go about doing that?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'd love to continue the conversation maybe some other time. If you see me again, love to keep going.
So, are you just a random person just doing stuff here?
I am pretty much a random person. It's just a hobby I have. I go to various places in LA to talk to people about whatever.
Cool.
Help them think about things, reflect, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
And I'll try to be here every Wednesday.
All right, sweet.
Thanks, Hannah.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. See ya.